gotta get out. Alright. Hello everyone who's watching this video. Today I wanted to talk about spirits and the afterlife with my grandmother. You can, I don't know what your name is when you do spirituality, so I just let you tell them who you are.
I'm still the same old grandma.
So, I had quite a few people ask me about a bunch of things spiritually related, and I feel like she's the best one to get all the answers. She doesn't know all of everything. She's not Jesus, but she knows a whole lot more than I do. So, I need all of these questions. I think majority of you guys ask, but if y'all have more questions, you can ask in the comment section. So the first question, and I'm trying to make sure I start the right questions. They're not in order, but I guess I'll just start from number one. How would you describe what a spirit is to someone who's never experienced one?
Okay, before I give an answer, I'd like to welcome all of the ancestors of the elevated energies, the angels, archangels, my spirit team, the divine source, so that the information that comes through me is the highest and will benefit someone. How do you explain a spirit? There are a lot of explanations of spirit. You're doing a spiritual life in a human form, so am I, and everybody that is human. But then when a person lets go of their air, their breathing, and their life is over, they may remain in this realm, and they are just pure energy or spirit. You know, they still have the same intentions. They have maybe contacts with their guardian angels, but they are spirit. We are spirit in a human form. We're spiritual, I should say, in a human form. But spirit is energy.
Okay. There you go, folks. When did you first realize you could sense or communicate with spirits?
When I was quite young. And I can give you a short story. I was in a cathedral and I was pissed off with Jesus, the Virgin Mary, and everything that was going on and all the nuns. And I decided to tell him what I felt like. So I told Jesus to tell God that if he was waiting for me to follow him and be good little girl, not to do it, because I wasn't going to go through all the stuff he went through, which was being stabbed and crowned and spit on and all that. And then I looked over at the Virgin Mary and I said, you I hate most of all, because you're a mother, and what I'm seeing where I am now is not good. I was seeing quite a bit. I was in the first grade, and when I looked at her, I meant it. I wasn't speaking it out loud. I was speaking it through my heart and my soul. I said, I hate you most of all because you're a mother and you're letting these children go through this traumatic situation. She was a statue that I was talking to. 4 foot, 4 or 5 foot tall statue in the cathedral that I was in. The nuns were chanting and the little girls were on their knees when I said this. And she turned and looked at me like this. Her hands were on the statue. She was looking down and her hands were out. And she looked at me and her hand came at me. I said, oh, she is real.
Not that. Oh my God. I'm going to answer this question too. She knows it. Everybody knows it because I can't stop talking about it. I think I was 12 or 13 when I first realized it. And it was at her house. She has all the spirits. And I was in bed for the night already. Everybody was asleep. So, and I was knocked out of sleep. But I woke up to someone, like, presence in the room. And I'm like, I can't see nothing. I'm in the dark. So I scoop from under the blanket. And I don't see anyone. And I'm like whispering, like, for her, like, Grandma, is that you? Why'd you be in here in the middle of the night though? So I got up and I turned on the light. And I'll never forget this, but there was an imprint of somebody sitting on the edge of that damn bed. I lost all shit and ran out the room because there was no way in hell I was sleeping in the room. There was I don't know if it was a painting or a print, but there was like a framed portrait of someone in the room who Grandma said that they had like spiritual ties. So I'm gonna just assume that it was that spirit at the time. And I went into the living room and I sat my little happy butt down on the couch, turned on all the lights in the living room, in the kitchen, and I went to sleep because I was not doing it. I even ran back in the room to grab my pillow and my blanket. Like I ran in there, grabbed the pillow, grabbed the blanket, and then ran back out. Because everybody else was asleep and there was no way in hell I was waking up my dad and I wasn't waking up my grandma. So I was like, well, fuck it. I'm all alone in this creepy ass house now. But cause she used to have these masks on the wall above the stairs, and that's where the couch like directed, like faced. So I had to sleep with my back facing that because it was just, at this point, everything in her house looked like it was haunted, and I was just like, I'm not doing this. So I slept with the blanket over my head, and it took me a long time to go back to sleep, but I went back to sleep. That was the first time I've ever seen anything in my entire life, and I'll never forget it.
Let me elaborate on that. In case you all don't know, you probably frequent her videos, but Maya was mischievous, devilish as hell. And there were things that I told her, and she's like, and she would go against it. And I believe that's why they did that to you, so that it would prove to you that I wasn't kidding you.
Yeah, I thought she was crazy.
Yes, she did.
But so did your own kids when they were kids.
Yes, they did.
Cause everyone, if you walked into her house and you don't know anything about spirits or like the afterlife, or just you're not concerned about what like you can do as in like gifts and stuff, you would think she was a witch. I mean, she technically could be, but she's a good witch. She's not one of those voodoo witches. But you would think she was into some voodoo if you walked into her house. I'm just saying. But she's not. I mean, she's very helpful with things. Let's see. I think I'm going to answer this one first and then ask you, or you can answer it. So the question is, oh no, that's the next question. Actually, I'll just answer this and then ask the next one next. What are some signs or feelings that let you know a spirit is near? So for me, usually I get like say if somebody was pushing you up against the wall, like right here in your chest, that's what I feel, but not in a bad way. I mean, unless it's a really bad spirit, but not in a bad way. I can just sense it, like I feel like they're like touching me or something. And then my sense of awareness is like heightened, so I can hear it, like at my old job, for instance, because I've told y'all it was kind of haunted or whatever, I could hear like different voices, well, voices that weren't there, like they were there, but most people can't see them except for like me and her. So that is how I would sense it. And then I would get like signs of like someone coming through my thoughts. It's like somebody's like traveling in my thoughts. I don't know how else to explain. She might be able to explain it better. But that's how I know. It's mostly an inner feeling of like a presence that the average person can't see. I can just, it's like a heavy feeling in my chest. How about you?
There are a lot of ways that people can experience and say, oh, I know there's a spirit around. But for me, depending upon who it is, because I have a spirit team, and it's a whole host of spirits, and they all have a different way of touching base with me. Some of them get my attention. They just keep getting my attention. It's as if someone is speaking inside my head. At other times, I'll get a chill, and there's no reason to have a chill, and I mean a full body chill. I'm like, whew, it just comes over you. At other times, I can smell some of my spirit team. I don't have a lot of smell like one of my students. She can smell them all the time. That's her main touch with them. Another way is something that I have focused on or asked about will show up, and it keeps getting my attention, and I keep looking at it like that. Why am I, what? Oh, and all of a sudden I know that they're there. Yeah. Now, there are a lot of people that are like you. They can feel them touch them. You know, it's very rare for them to touch me because I'm always getting downloads or the chill, and sometimes the smell. A lot of people, you know, they disappear from Earth. Some people are not in the room that they were in. All of a sudden, they're taken to another realm. But not physically. It's just their senses. And then they'll come right back. That's when their spirit is touching base with them. There's a lot of different ways.
Yeah. Let's see. Why do you think some spirits stay while others pass on?
You and I, excuse me, had an incident happen where there were different spirits there. And some stayed and some went on. Sometimes when a person crosses over, it's traumatic. And the shock is something that they can't contend with. At other times, it's like people did not want to die. They had a fear of dying. They just did not want to die. And they're still holding on to Earth. At other times, there are some things that they're supposed to have been doing, and their death came from something unnecessary that wasn't natural. And they get lost. And it's possible to get lost in making your transition. For the most part, from what I understand, don't know it all, from what I understand, you have guidance once you leave and stop breathing. You know, but those that don't have a mission, something that they did not do, or something that, you know, is really traumatic to them, and they're lost.
This is almost kind of like similar to like the question before this, but can spirits communicate with us through dreams or emotions?
Yes, because, and that brings up the topic of energy. Energy is what we are in. We're in this energy. You and I are mixing our auras, and we're in the energy of this spiritual room. Ask a question again.
She got off track.
Sure did. Don't got me out there.
Can spirits communicate with us through dreams or emotions?
Thank you. Through emotions, most definitely. I speak of a spiritual team. Everybody has a spiritual team. You may not have linked up with it. But if you have a spiritual team that you contact and call upon, say you call upon Archangel Michael, um, uh, yeah, if you're not paying attention, you're busy and you've gotten busy with the mundane, trying to pay bills, or you fell in love with this gorgeous guy and you're all absorbed in this relationship, and there's something that you need to know, they will touch base with you physically. Just something is going on and you know it. At other times, you can go off to sleep. And it's happened with me that I needed to get a message and I wasn't processing it. And the whole dream played out the story and gave me the information. And I knew where it came from. Because I stay in touch with my guardian angels. And there are some things that they're like, don't do that anymore, don't do that. And I'm not paying attention. And this dream has this, and I don't dream and remember very often. It's very seldom that I do. When I see that whole story unfold, what the heck? Oh, all right. Thank you, Archangel Metatron or whomever. Yeah, they can.
Let's see. I'm looking at my list of questions. I wrote these questions last night. I already answered that one technically. How can we tell the difference between a spirit who needs help and one who's just visiting? You don't have to go in details because I know that's a long,
difficult
answer.
I'm going to answer it from my perspective, from what I've dealt with. I don't always know when a spirit needs help. Okay, usually my spirit team, like when I did the work up to the school, I didn't know that those people were captured. I had no idea until that second when the mudslide happened. That's when I found out that they were in the background. Yay, they're going, they're free. They needed help. They wanted to get out of that. Okay. So there are various ways. But for someone who does not relate to their spirit team continually, it's kind of dangerous to pay attention to the spirits. Because there's some nasty ones over there.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see. I answered that one also. I answered that one. That one seems like okay. Is there a right or a wrong way to speak to spirits?
It depends. If we are talking about your spirit team, everyone can have a full spirit team. If I were to name them, it would take too long. That's how many I have. There's a way that I talk to Archangel Uriel. And every time I mention Archangel Uriel's name, I'm going to chuckle because we have a funny thing. There's another death spirit that I talk to. And for the longest, I was a bit hesitant about how to relate to that spirit. But they let me know. Just, ask me the question, or just do this, or just do that. And I learned how to speak to that spirit. But for the most part, just like we're talking now, that's how I talk to most of the spirits that I talk to. Now, when I go to Father, Mother, God, Almighty, Omnipotent Source, I am a little more reverent initially, and then I might say something stupid or, lighten up the mode. But there is no wrong way to speak to your spirits. except to demand or to be ungrateful. That would be wrong.
Yeah, I don't do that. She got a bunch of spirits she talked to, but I got about 4 of them, and they were really hard, because I be putting them in some shit. But they there. And I don't ask them for a lot, honestly. The only time I'll sit there and ask them about stuff is if I'm scared of what's going on at the moment. So like when I fly, I let them know before I go. Or when I'm driving, they're always there. Like they're usually buckled in the car somewhere. Honestly. So no. Or there is a spirit that I call out for animals, but that's a whole nother story. See. What are some misunderstandings that people have about spirits in the afterlife? And the afterlife.
Some people think that it's an elevated state when you're in the afterlife. There's some nasty, ugly folks over there in the afterlife. So that's a misunderstanding. Don't think just because they're on the other side, they can give you correct information or help you, or they're genuinely of the divine source. That's a misconception.
Alright. Can a spirit return even after they've already passed over?
A spirit continues. Your spiritual self is composed of energies. Is nothing but more than energies, and into physical form. That spiritual essence of you will come back, reincarnation. So spirits can come back. And now if you're talking about a person that drops dead and then get up and walk, I don't know.
That would be kind of scary. Okay. This one I know the answer to. But do children experience spirits differently than adults? In my head, I feel like they do. Kids are more sensitive, I think. Like, they're more willing to see things and understand things. Even babies, like toddlers, they don't have a lot going on in their minds anyways, so I feel like for them it's easier, especially if they've been reincarnated, or because you've seen all those TV shows and documentaries of the kids who like, oh, this is how I died in my last life, and this is the person that came up to me when I was little, and then they told me that they were kinship of me and things like that. So I feel like kids do have a different experience, but adults can too, but I feel like we have to focus more than kids do.
One of the things is that everybody is on a different level. Okay? We're all doing the same thing, but taking different paths. But some of us have been higher up in a past life, and we have a high mission or purpose in this life, and they come here actually knowing things, seeing things and expressing things. But adults have a tendency to say, that's just their little playmate friend that they're pretending about. Or, what's wrong with you, child? You ain't nobody standing over there. You crazy. But from me as a little girl and some of the things that I saw and some of the things that I tried to express to the adults, they closed me down. And that happens with a lot of children. a lot of children will come and say, but that man just told me that I'm going to go get an ice cream cone tomorrow. What man? There's nobody in the house but you and I. And adults have a tendency to do that. But the veil is not as thick when you're young. You don't have all these earthly experiences or adults that have closed us off.
Yeah.
You know, when we're young.
Okay. How does your spiritual practice help you stay protected or grounded when dealing with spirits?
My spiritual practice varies so much, and it depends on what I'm doing. I like to teach, I like to heal, I like to study, I like to remember what it was that I was doing, somewhere that I don't remember. I want to go back and make sure that I'm handling it properly. And the more I talk, the easier it is to talk to them. The more I focus on staying in my divine energy, the easier it is for me to adjust to all this stuff that we're seeing going on in the earth now. So my spiritual practices keep me comfortable.
What would you tell someone who is afraid of spirits or doesn't understand them?
I would tell somebody who is afraid of spirits that it's sensible to be afraid of something that you don't know. But it's not a good idea to close off. The best thing I would say to anybody, everybody, is to connect to your guardian angels. Connect to the Almighty. And say, if this is of the divine, I accept it. Give me more information, my guardian angel. If you're working with your elevated ancestors, ask them to guide you and give me information so that I won't make a mistake and speak to the wrong thing. Because there are some spirits out there you don't want to deal with.
So, say if someone wants to explore that idea, to find their spiritual path or guides, how would they speak into it? Like, you know how we talked about talking to our spirit guides or like to the most high power before we start speaking, or for them that they don't know exactly who they're speaking to, what will protect them before they start speaking about things like that, like kind of like how we pray and stuff.
Going to the divine source is your major protection. Now, the divine source has given us all these tools, archangels and ascended masters and all of this, but to be sure, go to the divine source. Father, Mother God, or Jehovah, whomever you name the divine source as long as it's the divine source, go there. Go there. But I would advise everyone to find out who your guardian angels are. Because when those two seeds were coming together to form you, there was an energy. And there was an energy of the stars, the system, therefore the zodiac. There was an energy of something that was over that particular area of the world, and going back to your guardian angels, and that's who that is. And some of us have 2 and 3, well, most of us have 2, but some of us have 3, and there are sources that you can tap into to find out who your guardian angel is. I talk to my guardian angels all the time because everything I do, they're watching over me ever since I've been here. Since those two systems were coming together, that masculine and feminine were uniting, they were with me. Go to your guardian angels. Go to the Almighty. And any divine source.
Alright, well, those are all of my questions. Let me look at the messages on here from certain friends. To make sure I got all of the answers. In case she's watching this, it's like, she didn't ask the question that I was asking. Let's see. I don't know if I asked this one, but can they goes out again. Hopefully we just got that last little bit in there. If not, if it cut off and you're like, what happened? It's because the camera overheated real quick because we've been filming for a minute. But that was all of the questions that I asked my grandma. If you have any specific questions or you want to ask her specifically, I'm pretty sure she has an email. You can email her. If she does, or I don't know if she still has a website, but if not, or if so, do you?
No, I put it down.
So you just have your email?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I'll get her email and I'll put it down below. So, and you guys gotta be for real when y'all asking questions now. She ain't got time to waste. So, you can ask her questions, or she wouldn't, I'm sure she wouldn't mind reading something that has you experienced that you not quite sure how to go upon it or whatnot. If you need a mentor, she mentors, but she ain't doing it for free. So, I'm just saying. But yeah. Also, I'm gonna put in there, I'm gonna shout her out. She got a medicine wheel. You need to walk on the medicine wheel. If you don't know what a medicine wheel is, that's a whole nother video.
Yeah,
it's a whole nother video. And if you want to learn now, just there's videos on YouTube about medicine wheels, but all medicine wheels are not made the same. So go as you wish. But she does have a medicine wheel.
Native American
medicine wheel. So if that is an interest to you, you can email her. And I don't know anything after that because she's my grandma. I just pop up here whenever I want. Y'all can't do that, so y'all gotta email her. And email when you do ask her questions. Just say you watch this video about it, and then leave your name and a way to contact you back so that she knows who she's talking to. So anyways, thank you for watching my video, and goodbye.